Greetings everyone, Splash here with another big comic review. And this one is part 2 of Diesel Ignition by Tyson Hesse. Or is it pronounced Hesse? Anyway, I made a mistake in the last review. I said that I was going to get more comics, but this is actually a trade paperback I got. It's like, I want to say 6 comics in one. And there's just so much to explain, and the comic to me is so good. I want to properly explain it to you guys so you can understand, or at least so I can pay more respect to this comic because it's really good and I enjoyed it. So part 2 starts off. Okay, well, let me talk about what happened last issue. Dee found an engine came into Peacetown. Dee found it and she can make it work. It turns out that engine belongs to the tapan, a bird species that are, well, up until then, didn't really do anything until their giant warship came out of the clouds and blew up Dee's home. And when they tried to capture Dee, she managed to make her engine not explode so much as sort of, but not like blow up, more like expel a lot of power. And the last thing we saw was Dee falling through the clouds with rickets. And this comic starts off with Dee waking up on the ground beneath the clouds with rickets, and she has no idea what's happening. She tries to start the engine with her electric powers, which is just a snap of her fingers, and she can make a spark. It's not working. And then, while she's trying to find her way through this, it's almost like it's like a dark area with just mounds all over and trash, like a junkyard, a trash heap. She's attacked by these weird creatures that are called coyotes. Not the coyotes that you think of in real life. These things have huge jaws, tiny eyes, and they're vicious. When Ricketts tries to scare them, they attack him. And before they can attack Dee, someone comes up and shoots fire at them. And this is possibly my favorite character in the entire comic. His name is Bull. And Dee knows Bull. And he knows Dee, and he's surprised that she's even here. Apparently, they are adopted siblings. Dee actually has many of them. So she wants to know where he's been because she hasn't seen him in years. He wants to know what she's doing down there. So Dee explained, while Bull is leading Dee through the garbage, I guess, trail, at the same time they fought off coyotes, but mostly Ricketts and Bull. Dee just hid next to her engine because she really does not know how to fight yet. Anyway, Bull explains that he lives with his colony, his herd, people like him. Because Bull, he's kind of looks like a human, but he's twice as short as Dee, has bird-like feet, has horns, black eyes. I mean, if it wasn't for his personality, you would think he almost looks demonic, but he's actually a really cool dude with a staff. And Dee wants to know how can he shoot fire. He said he can't make fire so much as manipulate the flames already made. So if he makes a spark with 2 rocks, he can control that flame. If he uses his stick, he can control flames from that, but he just can't make it out of thin air. Anyway, Bull explains that when Dee tells Bull what happened, he does not seem surprised, and he tells Dee that, yeah, the Tapan took over his colony already. They actually made, and he wasn't surprised about the warship because the Tapan made his people build that warship. So the warship that left his colony was the one that attacked Dee's town. And when they look over at a safe distance, they see that Bull's hometown has Tapan all over it still. And he actually said there used to be a lot more, but they all went in the ship and left. He wants Dee's help to get rid of the Tapan. And basically they're going to help each other. Dee wants to find out about her dad, Tunskin Diesel, about why he was with a Tapan. Bull tells her it's in their stronghold. Tapan has a tower that's been built in the middle of the colony, and Bull knows the inside layout because his people built it. So they meet with Bull's other people. They're against it, but Bull's telling them the plan can work because Tapan, like I explained, Tapan already left with their warship. So a lot of their numbers aren't even there. If they attack now, they have a better shot than waiting until the warship comes back. So they have a plan. Bull and Dee will go to the tower on one side, while Bull's people will plant explosives near a storehouse on the other side, far into the hangar. So when the explosives are set off, the Tapan are looking on one side of the tower, while Dee uses the engine to fly her and Bull up a window that's, well, it's like a doorway that's 30 feet up. The only doorway is all the way in the top. Well, at the top of the tower, but 30 feet above the tower. That's the entrance. That's why no one could get in except for the Tapan with the flying engines. Anyway, they get inside and they come across some documents in a room. And they don't know what to look for exactly, but they're just stuffing documents. But they're stuffing their bags with documents. And while they're doing this, Bull gives Dee the layout of why the Tapan are doing this. Because Dee had no idea. Okay, well, Dee knows there are Tapan species, but she has no idea why they're attacking everyone else. Apparently, there was a war 30 years ago. The Tapan and humans fought for resources because of overpopulation. And the gas capital scientists created a chemical that I'm guessing you really can't smell it or feel it because the Tapan when they spread the chemical agents, the Tapan flew back to their colonies, spread that and not realizing it. And what it does is it modifies their genes. So it creates some mutations, but all of them lose their wings and ability to fly. That's why the Tapan uses engines. And because they were losing their wings, they gave up the war and begged the gas capital to give them the power of flights back. But the king said he could not do that because he didn't want to do that. The chemical agent was made to be permanent, and the 8 scientists who made that agent, the king forbade them from ever coming together to work on this again. And the Tapan were just left to their devices. They couldn't fly, and that was their most reliable asset. It's almost like everyone using cars, and suddenly no one can use cars anymore. It'd be pretty hard to visit relatives to get supplies from one spot to the other without a working vehicle. It's possible, but it'd be a lot longer and a lot difficult. So Bo believes that this is all revenge that the Tapan are doing. And he's even more shocked when he sees a map that details specific areas beneath the clouds. Apparently, the Tapan already took over these areas, and they're planning to build more warships to attack the gas capital. Alright, so after all this revelation, a giant general comes in, a Tapan general, who he found the explosive that Bull and Ricketts left around the tower. That's why he never left the tower. So in front of Bull and Dee, the general eats the explosives, yells, "That's disgusting," and Dee asks him bluntly, "Why did you do that?" And the general responds, "I'm trying to intimidate you." And Dee just looks at him and says, "I see." And the battle's quick. The general takes out Bull. The general trying to attack Dee. She's scared that he'll eat her. But he said, "No, that's disgusting. I just want to squish your head." Anyway, Dee manages to snap her finger, to rub. This is clever. Dee, while up on a pole, rubs her hand on her hair to get some friction going, snaps her fingers, and the engine rockets towards her. And because the Tapan general is right in front of the engine, when his back's facing the engine, it slams to the back of his head, knocking him out. Clever. Dee gets Bull and Ricketts on the engine. They fly away, and Dee has a plan. The general's after them. So she has the engine fly up high, high in the tower where the window's most narrow. So they fly through the window, but the general, because it's so big, couldn't fit through the window. And Bull shoots a fireball through the general's mouth. And because he had explosives, he blows up and dies. And Dee even tells him later, I can't believe you did that. And Bull said, yeah, he couldn't believe it either. So Tapan, with their stronghold gone and their general Toothache dead, that's his name, they leave Bull's colony, Stableburg. And yeah, everyone's free. At least in that colony. And then we learn later on that Dee's bothered by something. During their talks, Bull had admitted out loud that he wasn't adopted into Peacetown. He was kidnapped. He was stolen. And when Dee wants to know what he meant, Bull tells her that apparently his parents and Bull, when he was still a baby, left Stableburg to go visit other people of their own. You know, their other herds. I said horde. Their other herds. They suddenly disappeared. A few days later, Bull is in Peacetown. And none of that added up to him. It didn't make sense because apparently his parents were two really strong warriors. And everyone in Stableburg thought that they were killed by coyotes. All of them. So until Bull appeared 5 years ago in Stableburg, they all thought he was dead. He said it just didn't seem to add up in his mind. I don't know. I assume that maybe Tungsten found Bull, didn't want to tell him the story, that his parents were killed by coyotes. I don't know. But here's what I don't get though. Why did Bull leave Peacetown? My guess is maybe he just didn't feel wanted. I don't know. Anyway, Dee wants to go rescue her dad, Tungsten Diesel. Bull said that he's not his father and that he does not want to save him. But Dee is still his sister. But Dee's too upset that she does not want to speak to him. The next night, we see that Bull had gotten some of his colony to build. This is kind of cool. A makeshift, almost a makeshift motorcycle. No wheels, just the engine, a seat in the front, and a seat for Dee to sit on. Poor Ricketts, he doesn't have no seat. He just has to cling on for dear life on the bottom. So this is Bull's way of telling Dee that he wants to go with her. And the colony urges him to do that. So, yeah, he tells Dee, and this is really a good moment, because Dee tells Bull the truth. She has no idea what she even has to do, or what she's going to do. And Bull just tells her, you're the leader, I trust you. And together, they leave on that ship. And wow, was that not a good cliffhanger. I can't explain how much I like this story. The negatives are few. The positive are great. The way Bull and Dee go back and forth, they act like brother and sister. Dee teases Bull for his height a lot, and he always has dry sarcasm to match it. He makes fun of her, such as when Dee tells Bull the entire story about Peacetown being destroyed, and Tungsten and the Tapan, Bull just tells her, I believe you. And Dee said, just like that? And Bull's response is, yeah, you're not good at lying. So, and Ricketts just being there, being Ricketts. Like at one point, Dee tells Ricketts in the stronghold, bar that doorway. So Ricketts uses his arms and wraps him around the two door handles, and just stands there. Oh, this is a fun comic. I can't explain how much fun it is, and no one's perfect. Bull's not perfect. Dee's not perfect. And they're trying. They have no idea what they're doing. But they have faith in each other. They have hope. Bull, sense of bravery. Despite his height, he's willing to fight. And even though Dee is not his biological sister, he grew up with Dee long enough that he trusts her immediately. And Dee, at the same time, trusts Bull just like that. It works out. Yeah, so I'll get a part 3 going when I can. Thank you for listening to this vague review. And well, it was not as vague because I was a little more thoughtful about this one. Because I wanted to show how my appreciation for this comic. And I hope if any of you read this story, Diesel, I don't know, what'd you think? Was it good? Not? Appreciate all thoughts. And thank you for listening.